Hi everyone, Namaste. So today we are going to start a new chapter, that is the general organic chemistry or basic concepts of organic chemistry. So in this topic we learn completely whatever the basics present in the organic chemistry. So first we will start with IUPAC naming. So IUPAC naming. So when our molecules are given, so we have to write IUPAC names. So must and should one question will come in the NEET exam. So IUPAC name writing is very important. Just by following some rules, any molecule is given, we can write IUPAC name. Just we have to remember the rules only. So I have given in this sequence. So when our molecule is given, first we have to write root word. What is the root word? Number of carbon atoms in the longest chain having functional group. So in the given molecule, so we have to identify what is the longest chain. In that longest chain, how many number of carbons are there, that we have to count. So based on that number of carbon, we can write the root word name. One carbon is there with, two is there with, three is there pro, butane, like that, up to 10 carbons is enough. So root word is simply number of carbons in the longest chain having functional group. After writing root word, we write primary suffix. So primary suffix means bonds between carbon and carbons. So between carbon and carbon, what types of bonds are there, that we have to write. If the bond between carbon is single bond, we write N. Double bond, we write in. Triple bond, we write ein. So based on the types of bonds present between carbon and carbon, we can write N in ein. After that we write secondary suffix. Secondary suffix means major functional group. So what are the major functional groups are there? I will write you one table. So that major functional group we have to identify. But remember, whenever the major functional group name starts with vowel letter. Vowel letter means A, E, I, O, U. If any functional group name starting with vowel letter, then in the primary suffix, the E last must be removed. A, in, ein, always containing last letter is E. So this E letter must be removed when secondary suffix name starts with vowel letter. So remove E from primary suffix when starts with vowel letter. So first root word, number of carbons in the longest chain. After that primary suffix, bonds between carbon and carbon. After that secondary suffix, major functional group name. Before the root word, we write primary prefix. But this primary prefix only applicable to cyclic molecules. When the molecule is closed, then we write cyclo. If it is not closed, it is an open molecule. So primary prefix we can neglect directly. So primary prefix only applicable to cyclic molecule. So we write cyclo. Before that, we write secondary prefix. Secondary prefix are simply branchings. Root word is the longest chain. In that chain, any extra branchings are there, that we are calling as secondary prefix. So all these branchings are given here. N2 is there, that we write azo. NO2 nitro, NO nitroso. X means halogen, any halogen, chlorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. We write halo. R is alkyl. What is meant by R? R is nothing but carbon. When carbon present in the long chain, that we are counting in root word. If carbon present in branching, then we write alkyl. If one carbon present in branching, we write methyl. Two carbon present in branching, we write ethyl, like that. OR, alkoxy. Along with oxide, carbon is there. So that is alkoxy. One carbon is there, methoxy. Two carbons are there, methoxy. Similarly, all functional groups except major one. If the molecule containing more functional groups, among that major one we choose and we write in secondary prefix. All remaining functional groups are we write in branchings. So this is all functional group except major. So major we write in secondary prefix. Remaining all functional group we write in secondary prefix. So this is the sequence. We have to remember. What is the first rule? First remember root word. After that identify primary suffix. After that secondary suffix. Before that primary prefix. Before that secondary prefix. Whatever the branchings are there, branchings always written in alphabetical order. All branchings must be written in alphabetical order. So this sequence you have to remember. So write this sequence. So after knowing the sequence of the IUPAC, so we have to remember another table, that is the table of functional group. So this is the functional group table, and this table is present in order, decreasing order. COH is the major functional group. After that SO3H, COR, COX, all are given in the order. When two or more functional groups are given, so we have to take major one above value. So above one is the major, below one is the minor. So orderly I have given COOH is present. Its prefix name is carboxy, suffix name is oic acid. SO3H, prefix name is sulfo, suffix name is sulfoic acid. So like that, all prefix name and all suffix names I have given. So this order you have to follow. So one is the sequence, the second one is the table. So by knowing these two, if any molecule is given, we can write the IUPAC name of that compound. So write this order. All are given in the order. Here last one see this is double bond, this is the triple bond. Double bond is major functional group, then the triple bond, remember it. E will come first, after that ion will come. So this is the functional group table. So now by following the sequence and knowing the table, so we can write IUPAC name of any molecule. Just for example, two molecules I am giving. So this is the molecule, so its IUPAC name we have to write. So whenever molecule is given, just imagine the rules only. So the first rule is we have to identify root word. Root word means number of carbon atom in the longest chain having functional group. So count the carbon atoms, any longest chain we can take. Suppose we are taking this one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So anything is the longest chain. Now see this, if you are taking this chain, it has more branching. This is also branching, this is also branching. If you are taking this one, this is the only branching. So more the branchings, so that chain we have to take. So this I am taking as the longest chain. In this longest chain, 6 carbons are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 carbons are there. So 6 means root word will be X. After that, we have to write primary suffix. Primary suffix means bonds between carbon and carbon. Between carbon and carbon, single bond is there. That's why I am writing A and E, X, N. After that, we have to write secondary suffix. Secondary suffix means functional group. Observe here OH is also functional group, CHO is also functional group, and two or more functional groups are there. So we have to identify which is the major one. Among these two, CHO is the major functional group because table we have to follow. So CHO is a major functional group name. CHO suffix name is Al. So when it is starting letter is A, so that is the vowel letter. When our secondary suffix is starting with vowel letter, the E of the primary suffix will be removed, An and Al. Hexanal. Root word completed, primary suffix, secondary suffix completed. Before the root word we write primary prefix. But primary prefix applicable to cyclic compound. So this is not a cyclic, it is an open molecule. So there is no primary prefix. So directly we go for secondary prefix. So secondary prefix means simply branchings. So this is the chain we have taken. So if this is the chain, this should be branching, this should be branching, this should be branching, and it should be branching. So all these are branchings. And all branchings must be written in alphabetical order. So this is a branching contains carbon. Carbon branching is there, that is called alkyl. 1 carbon means methyl. 2 carbon, that means this is ethyl. And this is the hydroxy group. Functional group, but it is not major. That's why its prefix name is hydroxy. Its name is chloro. So all are alphabetical order. Methyl starting with M, ethyl starting with A, hydroxy H, chloro C. So C will come first. first we write chloro. After that we write ethyl. After that we write hydroxy. I am writing here just hydroxy. After that we write methyl. And remaining root word is the hex, primary suffix in, secondary suffix al. So chloro, ethyl, hydroxy, methyl, hexanol. So finally, we have to give numbering. So numbering always give from functional group side. Either this end to that end to this end, but functional group gets minimum number. If you are starting from this, aldehyde will get 6th position. But if you are starting from here, this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So aldehyde position will be 1. So 1 is no need to write, directly we can write as al. And methyl position. So methyl is the 5th position. 5 methyl. Hydroxy position, 3rd position. 3 hydroxy. Ethyl position, 4th position. Chlorine position, 2nd position. So 2 chloro, 4 ethyl, 3 hydroxy, 5 methyl, hexanol is the IUPAC name. Just we have to follow the rules. Except rules, nothing is there. Only we have to follow rules. So this is the molecule. So sometimes compounds will be given in bond line formula like this. So this is called bond line formula. The simple molecule. See this molecule. The first we have to identify root word. Root word means number of carbon atom in the longest chain. If you are taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the 8th chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is only 7th chain. But from this compare with 8 carbon chain, we are taking 7 carbon chain as longest. Why? Because in this 8 carbon chain there is no functional group. But it has functional groups. That's why this we are taking as chain. So from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this I am taking as chain because it contains functional group. Longest chain having functional group. That is also important. So 7 carbon means root word will be and primary suffix between carbon and carbon double bond. Also single bond is there. So single double both are present. So we neglect single, we type double. So this will be in. So this is also double bond, this is also double bond. 2 double bonds are there. Whenever double bonds or triple bonds, 2 or more is present, root word suffix is added by a. This will become hepta, not het. Penta is there, penta. Whenever double bond, triple bonds, 2 or more are present, we write always hexa, hepta, penta like this. And 2 double bonds are there, so we write diene. After that, secondary suffix functional. So only one functional of COH is there. So COH OE name is oic acid. So this E we can remove. Dienoic acid. So before the root word, we get primary prefix, but only applicable to cyclic. So this is open molecule. No need to write primary prefix. And before that, secondary prefix is there. Secondary prefix means branchings. So here, this I am taking as a chain. So this should be the branching. This branching containing carbon and carbon. 2 carbons are there. That means this should be ethyl. So position of ethyl will be 2. So 2 ethyl. Het. Diene. What is the position of double bonds? 3, 4 between means 3 we are take always we take less number. Between 6 and 7 means 6 we take. So 3 and 6. 3, 6 diene. Oic acid is 1 oic acid. So no need to write 1 oic acid, directly we can write oic acid also. So 1 number is no need to mention. Even you are mentioning, that is also correct. So 2 ethyl, hepta, 3, 6 diene, 1 oic acid. So like that, any molecule is given, just we have to follow rules. That's it. Like that, suppose one cyclic compound explaining. So we can write this name. So what is the root word here? Longest chain I am taking. So this is the longest chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 carbon means root word will be pent. And remember how to identify which is a carbon. So very simple technique. Wherever end is there, wherever bend is there, that should be the carbon atom. End and bend is carbon atom. So here all these are the carbon atoms. So 5 carbon means pent, and 2 double bonds are there. That's why we are writing penta. When double bonds or triple bonds 2 or more is there, we write penta, hexa, like that. Suffix name we must add a. So that is a penta. After that, primary suffix double bonds. 2 double bonds are there. We write di. After that, secondary suffix functional group. Here OH is the functional group. Functional group name is ol. OH name is OL. So before that, primary prefix is there, and it is a closed molecule. So directly we can write cyclo. Before that, branchings. So this is the root word, and this is the functional group. So this should be the branching. So branching will be chloro. So chloro, cyclo, pentadienol. Finally numbering. So definitely functional group carbon will get less number. So this will be 2, 3, 4, 5. Position of chloro will be 2. Position of diene 2 and 4. 2 comma 4 diene ol will be 1 ol. That is IUPAC names. Like that, any molecule is given, so we have to follow rules. Only rules are important. First, remember the sequence. First, we have to write root word, primary suffix, secondary suffix. Before the root word, primary prefix, secondary prefix. So, functional group order we have to remember, which is the major one, which is the minor one. So, these are the IUPAC names. There are some exceptions also there. So, some exceptions also there. What are the exceptions are? See this. 2 exceptions I am explaining. When both double bond and triple bond present at same position, then numbering from double bonded side. If both are not at same position, then numbering from least bonded side. So this is one exception. This exception is applicable to double and triple bonds. When both double bond and triple bonds are present and they are present at same position, then numbering is from double bonded side. When double bond, triple bond present at same position, from the double bonded side we have to give numbering. If both are not at same position, then the numbering from least bonded side. It can be double, it can be triple, which is the least, that side we have to give. See the example. See this molecule, so tell the root word. 4 carbons are there. Root word will be but. Primary suffix. Double bond is also there, triple bond is also there. First we write double bond, after that we write triple bonds. Both we have to write. Double bond first, after that triple bond. Now we have to give numbering. If we are giving numbering from this side, observe this 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose we are giving from this side 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, what is the position of double bond? 1. In this side, what is the position of triple bond? This is also 1. So, from this side, triple bond getting least position 1. From this side, double bond getting least position 1. So, both positions are 1 and 1 from both sides. That means, both double bond, triple bond present at same position. Then, numbering from double bonded side. So, double bond is more preferred over the triple bond. So that's why when both are at same position, then only double bond is preferred. So this numbering is correct numbering. So in position will be 1 and position will be 3. So this is the wrong numbering. Similarly, See this molecule. So write the root word 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon. 5 is spent. Double bond, triple bond. Both are there. First we write double bond. After that we write triple bond. So finally numbering. We are giving numbering from this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are giving from this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From this side, triple bond position is 1. From this side, double bond position is 2. So double bond list is the 2, but triple bond list is the 1. That means both are at a different position. When both are at different position, then numbering from least bonded side. Which is the least bond? Definitely triple bond is the 1 position, double bond is the 2 position. So triple bond is the least side. So that means numbering from triple bond here. Double bond position 1, 2, 3. So 3 is the double bond in, 1 is the triple bond ion. 3 in, 1 ion. So when both present at same position, then double bond is preferred. If both are not present at same position, then least bond is preferred. Least bond means triple bond is also possible, double bond is also possible. So that is important. That is one exception. Another exception is when functional groups like COOH, CHO and Cl present 3 or more in open chain or 1 in closed chain, then names must be written as carboxylic acid, carbaldehyde and carbonitrile respectively. So this is another exception. When functional groups like COOH, CHO, Cl, all these are carbon functional group. So any functional group containing carbon atom, those are called carbon functional groups like COOH, CHO, Cl. When these functional groups present in 3 or more, these functional groups present in 3 or more, 3 functional groups or more functional groups present in open chain or 1 in closed chain. In open chain, 3 here must and should, 3 or more. In closed chain, even 1 is present. Then the names must be written as COOH name is not oic acid, it should be carboxylic acid. CHO name not alk, it should be carbaldehyde. Cl name is not nitrile, it should be carbonitrile. When these are present in 3 or more in open chain or 1 in closed chain. See the example. So this is a molecule. It has functional COOH, but there are 3 COOH groups are there. Normally COOH group name we are writing as oic acid, but here 3 functional groups are there and 3 or more are present. So we write carboxylic acid, not oic acid. And when we are writing carboxylic acid, so that carbon we cannot count in the root word. Only root word is of these 3 carbon. 1, 2, 3. So root word will be pro. Primary suffix single bond is N. Secondary suffix functional group is COOH, but not oic acid. It should be carboxylic acid. 1, 2, 3 are there. That's why we write tri carboxylic acid. So numbering we are writing first position, second position, third position. So propane 1, 2, 3. Tricarboxylic acid. Same like if only 2 COOHs are present. See this. Only 2 COOHs are present, but this law applicable to 3 or more are present, then this rule is applicable. If 2 are present, there is no exception. So directly IUPAC rule we have to follow. What is the root word? 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon, all are in one chain. So directly we take but. Primary suffix N, secondary suffix oic acid. 2 COOHs are there, that's why we write OE, acid, numbering we are writing from A side is same 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 4, dioic acid. That is the correct numbering. So this rule applicable to when function rule present 3 or more, then only this rule is applicable. If this function rule present in one in closure chain, again name is as usual carboxylic acid carbohydrate. Suppose see this, only one Cl is present, but that Cl is present in closure chain. So that's why again we can write as carbonitrile. Its root word is 6 carbon. 6 means hex, primary suffix n, and we write functional name carbonitrile. So this is the carbonitrile. Cyclic is there, so we write cyclohexane carbonitrile. So that is, these two are important exceptions. Except these two, so remaining are as usual you have to follow. So only use rules. Any molecules are given, you can write IUPAC. Just some examples are given. Try these molecules. So try these molecules. Very simple molecules are given. So 3 molecules are given. So try these 3 IUPAC and send me in group. So the next topic we will see will be isomerism. So what is isomerism? Iso means same, mer means molecular formula. So these are the molecules having same formula but exhibit different structures. So those are called isomers. So isomerism is a process of formation of isomers. So isomers are the molecules of different structures with same formula. So in isomerism of organic compounds exhibit 2 types. One is the structural, second one is the stereo. 2 types, structural and stereo. First we will say structural isomerism. In structural isomerism, so number of types are there. The first one is chain, which is also called nuclear isomerism. So chain isomers are those which has different carbon chain length with same formula. For example, see this is a butane molecule and its molecule is converted to 2-methyl propane. So both having same formula C4H10, this is also C4H10, but both structures are different. So what is the difference in this structure? Its carbon length is 4 carbon, but its carbon length is only 3 carbons. When our carbon length is different, those are called chain isomers, also called nuclear isomers. So chain isomerism of alkane starts from 4 carbon, from 4 to any other number, will show chain isomerism. So 3 carbons are there, does not exhibit chain isomerism. So minimum 4 carbons are required for the chain isomerism. These are the chain isomers. Similarly, second one is the functional isomerism. So what is functional isomerism means? Chain means carbon chain length is different. Functional isomerism means functional group is different. Formula will be same, but functional group is different. So those are called functional isomers. For example, alcohols and ethers are functional isomers. Or aldehydes and ketones are functional isomers. Acids and esters are functional isomers. Like that, number of functional isomers are there. Alcohols are functional isomeric with ether. Aldehydes are functional isomeric with ketone. Acids are functional isomeric with esters. So like that, functional isomers are possible. So different functional group with same formulas. One example I am giving. See this CH3, CH2, CHO, aldehyde. And it is converted to ketone, CH3, CO, CH3. This is a ketone, this is aldehyde. Both are same formula. When functional group is different, those are called functional isomers. Similarly, the next one is positional isomers. So positional means position of the functional group is different. In functional group is different. In positional isomers, position of the functional group is different. Those are called positional isomers. For example, CH3, CH2, CH2, OH, propanol, and so this is the 2 propanol. This is 1 propanol and this will be the 2 propanol. Position will be 1 and position will be second position. So when our second position, first position, the position of the functional group is different. Those are called positional isomers. So functional, positional, and isomerism. Similarly, another one is the metamerism. So what is the metamerism means? So whenever the functional group having different alkyl arrangement, so different alkyls are attached to the functional groups, those are called metamers. For example, see this CH3O, CH2, CH2, CH3. So this is the ether. So methyl propyl ether. Another one is the. So both are ethers. Both are same formula. But what is the difference here? On this functional group, here methyl group is attached. But on this functional group, here ethyl group is attached. So different alkyls are attached. And such molecules are called metamers. So metamers are different alkyl attachments on the functional groups are called metamers. So similarly, another one is there. E. Another one is there ring chain isomerism. What is ring chain means? Open molecules and closed molecules can be isomeric with same formula. So those are called ring chain isomers. Mostly alkenes and cycloalkanes. So alkenes, cycloalkanes are ring chain isomers. Another one is alkynes and cycloalkenes, also ring chain isomers. For example, see this CH3, CH double bond CH2. This is a propene, and it should be converted to cyclopropane. So both formulas are same. CH2, 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 C3H6. So this is also C3H6. Formulas are same, but structure is different. What is the difference? It is the open chain, it is the closed chain. And open chain, closed chain molecules are isomers. Those are called ring and chain isomers. Examples mostly alkenes, cycloalkanes. Same like alkynes, cycloalkenes. For example, CH3, C double bond CH, cycloalkane. See the formula C3H4. So this is also CH, CH, CH2, C3H4. So alkynes, cycloalkenes. Alkenes, cycloalkanes. So these are called ring chain isomers. So one double bond is equal to one ring. Remember it? Two double bonds are equal to two rings. So one double bond, one ring. So both are ring chain isomers. Similarly, the last one is tautomerism. So what are tautomerisms? So tautomers are not direct isomers, they are equilibrium isomers. So we don't need to form the isomers. In any given mixture, they always exist in equilibrium. Such molecules are called tautomers. So tautomers form when the molecule contains two conditions, pi bond and alpha hydrogen. If molecules containing pi bond and alpha hydrogen both can exchange together, formation of tautomerism will be takes place. For example, CH3, C double bond O, CH3. Ketone I am taking. Here pi bond is there. Double bond means one single bond on pi bond. So pi bond is there and alpha hydrogen. What is meant by alpha hydrogen is, so this CO is the functional group. Functional group adjacent carbon is called alpha carbon. So alpha carbon means adjacent carbon of functional group. Not functional group carbon, functional group adjacent carbon is called alpha carbon. So this is alpha carbon, this is also alpha carbon. If the alpha carbon contains hydrogen, those are called alpha hydrogen. So here three hydrogens are there, alpha hydrogen. three hydrogens are there, alpha hydrogen. So it has pi bond, also alpha hydrogen. So this molecule will show tautomerism. So what is tautomerism is both pi bond and alpha hydrogen will exchange. If this pi bond is exchanging here, its hydrogen will be exchanged to oxygen. Then what is the remaining here? CH2. One hydrogen is gone to oxygen, CH2, and pi bond is shifting here, double bond, C, single bond OH, CH3. So both of these molecules are called tautomers. If you are taking ketone, 100% ketone does not exist. So some amount of this form also exists due to exchange of pi bond and alpha hydrogen. That's why tautomers are equilibrium isomers. They exist dynamically in equilibrium. So these two are called tautomers. See this in this molecule, the carbon contains double bond also, alcohol also. So it is called enol. So this is called enol, and this is a ketone form, and this is called keto-enol tautomerism. In these two molecules, so ketone always existed maximum amount. Similarly, nearly 99% will be ketone will exist. Very small amount will be enol will exist. But in some molecules like this, see this. So this is also ketone. So it is a diketone. Two CO groups are there. And whenever writing enolic content, so this is the pi bond. This is also pi bond. Either this or this. Any pi bond can shift. It can shift here also, can shift here also. But here two hydrogens are there. So these hydrogens are very alpha when compared with this CH3, this CH3. Because this is alpha carbon for this functional group also, and for this functional group also. That's why hydrogen mostly shifted from here to here or here to here. Suppose I am shifting hydrogen here to here, then pi bond will be shift like this. The product will be CH3, C double bond O. Hydrogen is shifting CH, double bond is shifting here, double bond COH, CH3. So this is the enol form. But here ketone form is the major amount. But here enol form is the major amount when compared with this one. Why? Because this is a OH and it is oxygen. So between this hydrogen and oxygen, formation of hydrogen bond possible. So due to hydrogen bond, this compound will be more stable and major molecule. So stability of compound is important. Which has more stable, that will be more amount. So here more stable. But here hydrogen bond does not exist. That's why ketone is the more stable when compared with alcohol. But here hydrogen bond exists. That's why enol is more stable. So stability is most important. So those are tautomers. Due to exchange of alpha hydrogen and pi bond, formation of equilibrium isomers are there. So those are called tautomers. So all these are structural isomers. The structural isomers can be chain isomers, functional isomers, positional, ring chain isomers, metamers and tautomers. So next one will be stereoisomerism. So the next one is the stereoisomerism. The stereoisomerism is mainly classified to conformational, geometrical and optical. So three main important isomers are there in stereoisomerism. One is the conformational, another one is the geometrical, and the third one is the optical. So geometrical and opticals both are combiningly called configurational. So this is the conformational and these two are configurational. So configurations are geometrical and optical. So one by one we'll say. The first is the conformational. So conformational isomerism is shown by alkanes. Shown by alkanes. Alkanes means what bond? Single bond. Single means sigma bond. So wherever sigma bond is there, sigma bond can be freely rotated. rotation. Due to free rotation of sigma bond, the isomerism is called conformational isomerism. Why it is freely rotate? We all know that sigma bond is formed by end to end overlapping like this. So this is the sigma bond, whereas pi bond is formed by sidewise overlapping like this. So this is the pi bond, whereas this is the sigma bond. So we know that sigma is a strong bond. So due to this end overlapping, it should be freely rotate. But when you are going for pi bond, the pi bond is a sideways. So when we are flipping, it should be break. So pi bond does not rotate, it directly will break, but sigma bond can be freely rotate. So that's why wherever sigma bond is there, they can freely rotate. So due to free rotation, they exhibit isomerism, that is called conformational isomerism. So conformational isomerism is due to free rotation of sigma bond. Now all alkanes will show conformational isomerism. One example, I am taking CH3 single bond CH3. Writing structure, CH3 single bond CH3. So this is a carbon-carbon single bond. If this bond, when we are rotating, so just we are holding this and this we are rotating, what is the structure will form? CH3 again, single bond CH3 again. Is there any difference in the two structures? After rotating, this structure is forming. Any difference is there? So both are seems to be same. The structures are same, those are not isomers. But these two are we are calling as conformational isomers. Why? Because so even though they seems to be same, but actually their orientation of atoms in this space are different. Suppose if these we are representing with HA, HB, HC, on rotating, so it should be HA, HB, HA. Now both are different. So that means the atoms orientation in this space always different in the stereoisomers. So stereoisomers are three-dimensional. So directly we cannot see with our naked eyes. So they require some special techniques for the observation. That's why the stereoisomers are three-dimensional. They always, by using some special techniques, we can identify and we can calculate. So these two are called conformational isomers. So conformational isomerism can be represented by two ways. With the help of two techniques, we can identify conformational isomerism. One technique is called Sahor's technique. Another technique is called Newman technique. So with the help of these two projections, we can identify conformational isomerism. The same example I am taking, CH3 single bond CH3. Ethane molecule will show conformational isomerism since it contains single bond. So in Sahar projection, so this sigma bond is there. If you are writing as a vertical line, so this end will be carbon, this end will be carbon. The simple technique I am giving, on the both end, just write the Y. This is a Y. On this end also, write the Y. Right? On this, just place the hydrogen atoms. So this is the ethane molecule. So this is a carbon atom, CH3 single bond CH3. So this is ethane molecule. But so this is a carbon-carbon single bond. So wherever sigma bond is there, they can be freely rotated. Suppose we are rotating molecule like this. On rotating, its structure should be. So this end I am holding. So this will be Y as usual. But on rotating, so this Y will become ulta. That means anti-Y. Like this. H, H, H. Now both structures are different. So these two structures are called conformational isomers. So in this conformational isomers, if both are present as Y form, then the molecule is called eclipsed molecule. If one is Y and one is anti-Y, then the molecule is called staggered molecule. So in eclipsed molecule, the dihedral angle will be 0. So bond angle will be constant, but dihedral angle, hydrogen angle will be 0. Why it is 0 means, so this is also Y, this is also Y. So both, so this Y and this Y. So both hydrogens present on same line. So both hydrogens present on same line. That means angle between the So angle between these two hydrogens will be 0. So dihedral angle will be 0. But here one is Y and one is ulta Y. That means bond angle will be 60 degree. So this is important. In eclipse, bond angle, dihedral angle, not bond angle, dihedral angle. So dihedral angle will be 0. In this staggered, dihedral angle will be 60. So between these two, minimum is the 0, maximum is the 60. So between any angle is possible. Angle 1 possible, angle 20, angle 35, any angle is possible. All that infinite number of isomers are possible. All that isomers are called skew isomers. So eclipse is the minimum, staggered is the maximum. In between, infinite number of isomers are possible. So those are called skew isomers. So this is the Savas technique. Same like in Newman technique. Same example I am taking. In Newman technique, so two carbon atoms are there. One carbon I am taking as dot, and the second carbon I am taking as circle. The dot represent one carbon, circle represent another carbon. On these both carbons, again I am writing Y. On this circle also I am writing Y. If I am placing hydrogen, now this is called eclipse isomer. So this is eclipse because both dot is also Y and circle is also Y, both are at same position. But if one I am writing Y and another ulta Y, anti-Y I am writing hydrogen, hydrogen, hydrogen. Now this is called staggered. So eclipse is 0 degree dihedral angle, staggered as 60 degree dihedral angle. So this is the conformational isomerism. So like this, any big alkane is there like propane, butane, whatever alkane is there, they will exhibit conformational isomerism. So remember, conformational isomers are infinite. There is no number to count because angle can be anything is possible from 0 to 60. So 0.5, 0.6 or 1.5, 30.5, anything is possible. So that's why they are called infinite number of isomers. Conformations are infinite, shown by alkanes due to free rotation of sigma bond. Next we will say geometrical isomerism. Now the next one is geometrical isomerism. The conformations are shown by alkanes, whereas geometricals are shown by alkenes. Remember it? Conformation is alkanes, geometrically is shown by alkenes. So alkenes means carbon-carbon double bond. Whenever carbon-carbon double bond is there, and on that double bonded carbon atom different substituents are there, then they exhibit geometrical isomerism. So condition, double bond must and should, on that double bonded carbon different substituents are similar, does not exhibit isomerism. So there must be two different substituents on this carbon, also two different substituents on this carbon, then the molecules will show geometrical isomerism. So geometrical isomerism shown by alkenes, also shown by cycloalkanes. So as I already told, alkenes and cycloalkanes both are same, those are ring chain isomers. When alkenes are showing geometrical isomerism, so cycloalkanes also will show geometrical isomerism. So alkenes, cycloalkanes, also some oximes. Oximes also will show geometrical isomerism. So all this, some examples will say alkane, cycloalkanes, oximes will show geometrical isomerism. So see this molecule CH, OH, double bond CH, OH. This molecule will show geometrical isomerism or not, so that we have to identify. Carbon-carbon double bond is there. On that double bonded carbon, this has one is hydrogen and one is the OH group. So both are different. This is also same, one is hydrogen, one is OH, both are different. So double bond is there, different substituents are there, it will show geometrical isomerism. Now this which isomer? So we have to identify. See this is hydrogen, this is hydrogen, both are similar, and similar substance present on same side of double bond. Then that molecule is called cis isomer. Similar substrate on same side to the double bond, that is called cis. If the similar substrate present opposite side to the double bond, then that molecule is called trans isomer. So that's why geometry is also called cis trans isomerism. So cis trans isomerism to show there must be some similarity. Similar substance on same side it is a cis, opposite side there is a trans. But if the molecule does not contain any similar substituent, then what will happen? See this molecule. So this is a molecule. So this will exhibit geometrical or not? Definitely it will exhibit. Double bond is there, different substituent, different substituent. So it will definitely exhibit geometrical isomerism. But we have to identify which one it is. It is a cis or trans. Not directly we cannot observe. See this? Any similar one is there? No similar one. H, OH, CH3, Cl. All four are different. When all substrates are different, then we use EZ system. E and Z system when all four are different. When similar ones are there, then directly we can use cis and trans. But when different substrates are there, we use E and Z system. So what is E and Z system is? See this, on this carbon, one is hydrogen and one is OH. So which is the high atomic number? So definitely oxygen is high atomic number. So high atomic number 1 we are taking as high priority. On this carbon and chlorine. So definitely chlorine is the high priority based on atomic number. If both high priority present on same side, then that is called Z isomer. Z is nothing but cis. But we cannot write like cis. That is name is Z. So Z means nothing but cis. But we cannot write cis. So that is we are writing as Z. So when more priority substance present on same side, that is called Z isomer. So more priority means based on atomic number. Based on atomic number, on these two oxygen is more, on these two chlorine is more. If both more priority present on same side, that should be Z. If priority substrate present on opposite side, so this is the more priority, this is the more priority present on opposite side, and that isomer is called E. E means trans isomer. So that is geometrical isomerism. If similar ones are there, cis trans directly we can apply. If all are different, then we use E and Z system based on atomic number priority. If both high atomic number priority present on same side, Z isomer, opposite side, that is called E isomers. So this is the geometrical isomerism in alkenes. So also cycloalkanes will exhibit geometrical isomerism. Like I see this. This is a cycloalkane. Not direct cycloalkanes, there must be di-substituted cycloalkanes. Here suppose I am writing methyl group. Here also I am writing methyl group. So on this cycloalkane, two methyl groups are there. This is a di-substituted cycloalkane. So di-substituted cycloalkanes will show geometrical isomerism. If both substrates are on same side, so definitely this will be cis. Opposite side means like this CH3H, CH3H, so this will be trans. So like that, any molecules will show. So di-substituted cycloalkanes will exhibit geometrical isomerism. So not only cycloalkanes, so some oximes. Oximes also will show geometrical isomerism. So what is oximes means? So oximes containing C double bond NOH. So this group is called oxime. C double bond NOH group is called oxime. But on this carbon, if one is alkyl, one is hydrogen, then that oxime is called aldoxime. If both are alkyl, then that is called ketoxime. Aldoxime, ketoxime. So oxime means C double bond MOH group is called oxide. On this carbon, alkyl hydrogen both are present, aldoxide, both are alkyl, ketoxide. So aldoxide, ketoxide will show geometrical isomerism. So this geometrical isomerism we represent with syn and anti. In oxides, geometrical isomerisms are represented with syn and anti. Syn means same side, anti means opposite side. So what is syn and anti? See the example. I am writing C has 3, C double bond, NOH, HCl. So this is a aldoxide, alkyl and hydrogen. It is a aldoxide. Now see this. How to identify it is a syn isomer or anti isomer? If the hydrogen and OH present on same side, then that is called syn isomer. Present on opposite side, that is called anti isomer. So this is a both are opposite sides, so this will be anti aldoxide. So hydrogen OH we have to observe. Hydrogen OH present on same side, that will be syn. Suppose here hydrogen is there, here CH3 is there. So hydrogen OH on same side, then that will be syn isomer. So this will be syn isomer. Same like in ketoxide. CH3, C2H5. In ketoxide both are alkyls. There is no hydrogen. Here hydrogen is there. So based on the hydrogen position to the OH, we can identify it is a syn or anti. Hydrogen is same side to the OH, syn opposite to the OH, that will be anti. But here there is no hydrogen, both are alkyl group. So now we cannot explain which will be syn, which will be anti. Now what we will do is, this is a methyl group is same position, same side to the OH. So here methyl is in syn position, whereas methyl is in opposite, that is anti position. So its name we can write syn methyl, anti-ethyl ketoxide. So methyl position is syn, C2H5 position is anti, so we can write syn methyl anti-ethyl ketoxide. Or if we are writing ethyl first, so anti-ethyl syn methyl ketoxide. So like that we can write. So in ketoxides, both we have to identify, both syn also anti, both will be present because both are alkyl. But in aldoxide, so directly hydrogen is there. With the help of hydrogen position to the OH, we can identify which is a syn or which is a anti. So this is the geometrical isomerism. And number of geometrical isomers we have to calculate. There should be one formula. In conformational there is no formula. Conformational isomers are infinite, but geometrical isomers are finite. They can be calculated by using one formula. The formula will be, so to calculate number of geometrical isomers, so these are the formulas are there. So when the given alkene has different ends, if the both ends are different, for example CH2 double bond CH, CH double bond CH2, CH3. See this, end is CH2, end is CH3. So both ends are different. Then we use this formula. When both ends are different, the number of geometrical isomers formula 2 power n. N is the number of double bonds. Here 2 double bonds are there, so we can calculate. So just I am writing CHOH here. So different. So this molecule, both ends are different.